Hello everybody, this is Jake, your resident content cowboy here. Yeehaw! And there are a ton of changes coming to Pokemon Unite after its 10-hour downtime. Starts today, at least for me, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So, let's talk about some things that we know are happening inside the game right away. I don't know when Sylveon or Mamoswine are coming out. I'm not positive how super item enhancers are going to work or what the new held items are going to be or even if they will be there for this launch. But one thing I do know is we have a patch. We don't know the exact details, but it has now been translated. I'm going to take you over to Serebii and we're going to read through it, so it's not just me reading through Google translated Japanese where I have to guess at some things. We'll talk about why they did what they did and what I think it's going to do to the meta, because honestly I think this is a massive patch and very much needed, and it completely changes the meta. I'm really excited. Here we go. So again, we're over on Serebii.net. Thank you very much to them. I'll leave a link to this in the description for translating. So here we go. Absol's Night Slash will have a cooldown reduction, and its Night Slash will have a decreased range of its second attack. Its Sucker Punch will also have a cooldown reduction and increased duration of its hindrance. Not a ton of changes for Absol. I could definitely see someone saying we need more for these speedsters here, but we're seeing speedsters get little tweaks here and there, and we're seeing other things get some major nerfs. So I think defenders and other Pokemon that we'll get to in a moment getting nerfs just means that speedsters become more and more viable. Zeraora, you're reducing the amount of attack stun inside of Zeraora's Slash. You're increasing the damage in the Slash, however, and the period between moves in the Spark has been increased, but it's going to increase the amount of Wild Charge attacks when using Spark, and then Wild Charge's cooldown has been decreased, and you receive reduced damage when using it. So basically, all they did with Zeraora was buff part of Zeraora's kit. Essentially, that's all they've done. They haven't touched Discharge or Volt Switch. Zeraora is still going to be a monster. Absol, maybe this is going to make Absol more viable, but I'm not 100% positive. And the reason behind that is I just don't know if the cooldown was exactly what Absol needed. I feel like Absol needed a little bit more than this. Let's talk about Charizard. Charizard now lets you burn multiple opponents with Fire Punch, which is huge. Flamethrower increases movement speed after attacking. Fire Blast has a cooldown reduction, and now its Unite move, Seismic Slam, increases damage dealt by basic attacks and restores HP when damaging opponents, and the cooldown has been increased. So it's less Unite moves being used, but they're even more impactful for Charizard. Charizard has got a massive buff in this patch. This is really big for Char, and Char needed it, honestly. Charizard really needed some help, and they got it, which is great. I've been saying for a while that if you tweak Charizard a little, I think it rises in the meta considerably, because Charizard is already pretty good. It just takes a little while to evolve and get better, and it's really strong at isolating certain carry Pokemon like a Greninja, Cinderace, someone like that. Charizard can fly over the entire enemy team, get in the back line, and really deal with people, and now it's doing even more damage. All of its moves almost are better, so I think this is a really important and much needed change for Charizard. Let's talk about Venusaur and Cinderace here. Venusaur, Giga Drain, and Petal Dance both got some love here. You know, Venusaur I still think is going to play back. What they would need to do to make Giga Drain and Petal Dance better and more viable, in my opinion, in sort of like higher ranked play, would be making Venusaur tankier. I think if you made Venusaur tankier, then these moves would work a little bit better. However, it is nice. I mean, you increase the damage reduction after you use Giga Drain. You increase damage done with Petal Dance. I really like Giga Drain Petal Dance. It just, you're just not strong enough to be frontlining with Venusaur. So I would like it if this was more viable. It would be really fun. Cinderace, its Pyro Ball got increased damage and a cooldown reduction. And some people already liked running Pyro Ball, so this is going to make that more viable. Flame Charge also got a cooldown reduction, and it was already pretty low. So this is really nice for Cinderace because they have also, as we move on, touched Greninja a bit with the Nerf stick. They just tapped him with the Nerf stick, and this might make Cinderace more viable like Cinderace used to be. We've got Talonflame here, a stat increase to its attack, definitely needed that. A cooldown reduction to Fly, awesome. Increased movement speed in the air for Fly, awesome. Flame Sweep, Unite technique gauge becomes more easily chargeable. So I think that means that you charge or Unite faster, right? But I don't know why that wouldn't go in the same, like with the Charizard wording here, cooldown increased. I don't know why it wouldn't just say cooldown decreased, but fine, you charge your Unite faster. Talonflame needed a lot of help, and this is going to make Talonflame more viable as that get in, get out, do a ton of damage, and then leave Pokemon. It needs to do a lot of damage because it's so frail. So Talonflame really got what Talonflame needed with this. Garchomp, stat increases, defense, special defense, and Rough Skin adjusts activation delay. So I'm guessing that Rough Skin is going to deal damage more frequently. That's Garchomp's passive. Awesome. Awesome. Garchomp needs help, and this is great. Greninja, this is one of the biggest ones in the entire, this is maybe the second or third. There's so many big ones, but this is huge. A stat decrease in HP, a stat decrease in attack, some bug fixes, Substitute got a little bit of a buff, which I guess is kind of cool. The Unite gauge becomes more easily chargeable, which is interesting, but it has a reduced attack boost from its Torrent. Basically, I mean, I don't want to say that this makes Greninja not viable at all, but Greninja got nerfed very, very hard. This is a hard nerf. We don't know the exact numbers. Maybe they're tiny tweaks, but if it's anything like what happened to Cinderace, we are seeing a huge Greninja nerf, which is, I think a lot of people would expect it, and maybe it's, you know, a long time coming. Here's one of the biggest nerfs. Okay, stat decreases for Wigglytuff, damage lowered for Pound, damage lowered for Dazzling Gleam. We don't know how much, but Wigglytuff was a tank that did a lot of damage, so it's still tanky. It's still got its tankiness. They haven't removed that, but they have removed some of the damage it does, which makes sense. Here's the biggest thing. Two huge things. We'll talk about Cute Charm really first. Activation gap reduced for Cute Charm. So that is Wigglytuff's passive. And now it seems like it's going to trigger more often. If I'm reading that right, activation gap reduced, right? So more often Cute Charm is going to trigger. Cute Charm is a pretty brutal move inside the game, or a pretty brutal passive inside the game, maybe the best passive in the game. Here's the big thing. Sing. Sing, we have now fixed a bug. This, I don't think this was a bug, but okay. Fixed a bug where Pokemon remained asleep even if hit by an attack. This is probably the biggest change, maybe of the entire patch. Sing is amazing, and people stayed asleep for so long, and now if you get hit, you wake up. This, in my opinion, and I could be wrong, but in my opinion, especially in solo queue, I think this makes Sing now not good. Kind of, yeah. I kind of think so. I think the thing was you would put people to sleep and then your team could attack them, do a ton of damage. Now if they just get hit one time, they wake back up and can move again. I think this kind of destroys Sing. Now you'd have to, maybe you'd run rollout, which is super fun, but I think Sing has been destroyed. If this is going to work the way I think it works, it's not going to be that useful a move. Not bad or anything like that. Well, maybe even bad. Because right now it's way overpowered. But the idea that even one hit of anything wakes the enemies up and gets them to start moving, I thought a reduced amount of time for them to be asleep made sense. This is completely changing the move and completely changing its use. I kind of think they have destroyed this move as far as the meta is concerned. It's kind of, yeah, gone. Cramorant got a damage increase to its basic attack that is boosted. Cool. Surf got a damage reduction and Gatling Gulp Missile. So apparently they thought Cramorant really needed a nerf because this hurts Cram a lot. Cram's already in a weird spot because you have to stay at range. You're really bursty, but that's all you have. I don't know, of course, again, I don't know how much of a reduction we're looking at here, but these reductions to Cram feel, in my opinion, unnecessary. I don't think Cram was so overpowered that you needed to reduce these moves. I kind of think Cram was working the way this character should. However, the thing that's nice about this is when you see the best Pokemon getting little reductions and everyone else getting small tweaks rather than massive buffs, we might be seeing the meta sort of tightening, I guess is the right word. So people who are in the dreaded B tier or no tier and people who are in the God tier or so good tier start to move closer and closer to the center. And I think Cramorant was really good. I hope this doesn't make Cramorant useless, but they've nerfed two of its strongest abilities, so we will see. Lucario is interesting. Power-up punch damage has been lowered. I don't know how much, but I think they're trying to stop it from being such an insane execute, which is unfortunate because I love power-up punch. Close combat damage is increased. I don't know. We'll have to see. It would have to be a big increase, in my opinion, for that move to become more useful, but hey, maybe. The thing about Lucario, however, is nothing's changed about his passive. Nothing has changed about extreme speed, bone rush. Like, Lucario is... its kit, you're going to probably be running extreme speed now, but besides that, Lucario still seems to be very viable. We've got Alolan Ninetales, a Blizzard, and Snow Globe kind of change here, so it alters how much damage is dealt after hitting an obstacle. I don't know if that's up, down. I have no clue what that exactly is going to mean, and there was a bug here. We've got Eldegoss with a fixing a bug with Cotton Guard and improved effect of Leaf Tornado, which is awesome because Leaf Tornado is great and I already run it, so that's really exciting. We've got a bug fix for Gardevoir. Snorlax, now if it uses Yawn, the Pokemon wake up when you hit them. So this is big. It's pretty big for the Yawn builds. I mean, this kind of ruins Yawn in my opinion. It kind of ruins Yawn and ruins Sleep. It's not bad, but as soon as you hit people, they start moving again, and that takes away a lot of the power of it. Let's see. We've got a bug fix for Gengar. We've got Mr. Mime's barrier increase, which is really nice. So the increase, or sorry, when you upgraded to barrier, it would kind of reduce the amount of barriers you had in reserve, if that makes sense, and now it just increases, so that's good. Let's see. A bug fix with Crustle. Slowbro, a bug fix, which caused special defense of opponents' Pokemon to be lowered by basic attacks. I don't know. Slowbro's already needs help, so whatever. A bug fix to Surf. Machamp bug fix. And now Blastoise. So this is labeled as a bug fix, but I don't know why they call it a bug fix. So Rapid Spin fixed a bug that caused movement speed of opponents to be lowered. It's kind of a feature of the move, but they're saying it's a bug. Okay, so now Rapid Spin is worse. Now let's look at this next one. Rapid Spin fixed a bug. Was this a bug that allowed you to use Hydro Pump and Water Spout at the same time as a basic attack during a spin? This is needed. Blastoise probably also needed a nerf to its Unite move because it's such an incredibly powerful Unite move, but this changes Blastoise in a big way. I will have to see the numbers on this, but this could drastically reduce Blastoise's viability, the Rapid Spin build. So, you know, it was nice while it lasted, But that's probably the end of Blastoise's Rapid Spin Water Spout build being so incredibly, unbelievably powerful. I loved it, but it's gone, I think, and it kind of had to go. So what I think is going to happen from this is, again, the meta is just going to get tightened up a bit, and that's a really exciting thing to see. Blastoise isn't going to be as good. Wigglytuff isn't going to be as good. Lucario isn't going to be as good, but not as much. Lucario's still sick. They haven't destroyed anyone, and they've made a couple people a little bit better. Cramorant is probably the one that I'm kind of most confused by, because it already wasn't the most overpowered Pokemon in the game, but okay. Greninja is possibly in a lot of trouble, because they did a similar nerf a while back with Cinderace, and it really reduced the viability of Cinderace. So much so that Greninja became the only carry played. They definitely want more options to be viable, and I'm excited to see that. I'm excited to see Garchomp getting even better. It needed it. I'm excited to see them working with Cinderace's kit, and of course, Charizard. I feel like Charizard got one of the biggest buffs, it looks like, of the whole patch. So the nice thing about all this, again, is the meta just kind of tightens up and more people become viable. I think it's really exciting. Almost all these changes make total sense. I'm kind of surprised about Cram again. Wiggly and Snorlax, I'm surprised that's how they want sleep to function, rather than just reducing the amount of time someone's asleep. You just wake right up. I am surprised by that, but in general, my keys just dropped out of my pocket. I don't know if the mic picked it up, but if it did, let me know in the comments. Did the mic pick up those keys? So I think this is going to tighten the meta up. I think all these changes are pretty much necessary, except for Cram. Cram is confusing, and then I'm surprised at what they did with Sing and Yawn. Let me know what you think in the comments. I think everyone is kind of going, yeah, this is about right, but I'm curious. What do you think? What do you think the biggest changes are? Are you really excited to play Talonflame now because of this? How about Charizard? Do you want to run that Giga Drain Petal Dance Venusaur? Thank you all for watching. Thank you for listening. I love you very much, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye. Mwah!